that enough?
That's more than enough.
That's more than enough.
More than enough. Hello, welcome
Hello.
back to another episode of Andertons TV.
Yes.
Where we bring you the latest groundbreaking, earth-shattering news from the fast-paced moving world of MI, musical instruments.
Especially
for those of you who
first,
don't know.
the first bit of January is always...
It is.
Full on.
We've smashed it over Christmas. We go straight into NAMM. Every supplier under the sun releases 50,000 new products.
Yeah.
And they all phone Andertons and go, can you video our products, please?
Yes.
So here we are. And
we
cream off the best ones, don't we?
I don't cream off.
We do.
Anything.
We basically go, let's just do the really interesting
Yes, we
ones.
do.
And it doesn't get much more interesting than when Fender take the best-selling range of valve guitar amplifiers in the history of the world, mankind, ever, probably the universe, even more than dinosaurs, and go, hey, it was version 3, now let's make it version 4. Because 4 is one more.
One more than 3.
Man's not hot.
Man's not hot. Version 3, man's hot. 3 and 4, man's not hot.
If only Chris Vella was here so that I could go, are you feeling okay? And instead of him going, man's not hot, he'd go, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm all right.
I'd be like, please, I throw you the gags.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, so the Hot Rod series, I don't even know, is it even called the Hot Rod series, or is it called the Blues series, or is it called I think it's called the...
Well, this is a Hot Rod Deville, so... Hot Rod. It's not a Hot Rod Blues.
It's like, the one we're talking about.
You know the one we're talking about. The one that
Yes.
I love this. I love this amp.
Yes.
I'm a massive fan of these amps.
It's the big selling mid-price valve amp range. If you go to any venue in any corner of the universe, chances are they'll go, do you want to use a Hot Rod Deluxe?
Yeah.
You go,
hire one of those.
Fine.
Yes. I mean, they're
Great
everywhere.
with pedals.
Yeah.
Killer clean sound, big reverbs, all good stuff. So, this is the lineup, basically. You've got a new and improved Pro Junior. Well, they're all new and improved, but Pro Junior, Blues Junior, Deluxe,
112.
and then, controversial, the 4x10.
It's gone. It's gone. Massive. I'm a massive fan of the 4x10 because I like the old super reverb.
What can I say?
The 60 watt.
What can I say? But basically, so the 4x10 Deville is gone. And the 212 is the only one staying in the catalogue. I realised as well, I went, that's not how you do it, is it? It's
no,
like that.
Man's not hot.
Man's not hot. Don't play with guns, kids. Now, Pete and I, in that opening jam, were plugged into the two big daddies. Pete's in the Deville 212. I'm in the Deluxe 112.
Yeah.
They basically have the same preamp. So the good news is we don't have to go through this twice. But some of the features that make it different now to the old series is pine cabinets as opposed to birch ply cabinets. So solid pine cabinets. I've always been a fan of how pine cabinets sounded. You guys know, I do a lot of the testing with the Victory guys and their pine cabinets. So I've always been a fan of pine cabinets. Yep. I think it does change the tone of an amplifier.
Man's not pine.
Man's not pine. And controversial. Fender are no longer using Eminence speakers in their these amplifiers. They're using Celestion A-types. Now, there's a break with tradition. The A-type.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think, in fairness, the A is for American, so it's Celestion's kind of version of an Eminence.
Yeah, I see. Okay, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Kind of like Celestion's idea of what an American speaker sounds like as opposed to a British speaker, which would be something like a Vintage 30.
Yeah.
They have had a visual thing, so believe it or not, and I think you'd have to put this up against an old one, the grill cloth is now designed to look slightly aged.
It's somebody has been smoking on this roll of grill cloth. It's slightly yellow.
It's a little bit more grey, isn't it, than the silvery one, which I don't know if I like as much, but hey. What I do like is the panels now, and we'll show you a close-up here. The panels now are black panels with white writing.
And white knobs.
Yes, and white knobs, as opposed to the old chrome panel with black writing, which
you got
wasn't the easiest to try and see what the thing said. Other than that, there has been a small modification to the Overdrive channel, which again, they don't really tell us what that is, so we'll just kind of get into it and we'll see.
Yeah.
Everything else is much the same. It does still appear that the one criticism that everybody has of the Deluxe and the Deville is the volume goes from nothing to borderline too much within that first 2 millimeters.
Yeah.
and then kind of becomes sort of normal after that.
Yeah.
So they're tough to really get like mega home use kind of
I mean,
stuff
but they are. I mean, the difference. One of the
home
difference
use
between
amp, is it?
that's a 40 watt and this is 60 watt, 112 2x12, and 60 watts with a 2x12 in it is loud.
They are.
It's loud.
Both same as they were before. 6L6 driven, pair of 6L6s in there for that again. Classic. What would you class that? Is this a blackface Fender sound, isn't it? And again, one of the things they haven't really moved away from is, I think the Hot Rod series is a more forgiving, clean sound than a vintage Fender amplifier. So
it's more forgiving. It's more sort
John
of,
Mayer.
you can,
it's more two rock.
It's that sort of It's that sort of
softer top
softer.
end.
Yeah, it's not really bright where the other ones. I mean, man's not Hot Rod.
Man's not Hot Rod. So the God, you know what? This is so bad, isn't it? We should have been doing these gags 2 months ago when that song was actually in the charts or whatever. But we're so old. We're basically just like your dad.
Probably could be.
And anyway, let's go through it.
Probably am.
Pete, we've both got an array of pedals on the floor, but we'll turn them all off for now, and let's just show you a beautiful, clean sound. You want to use a Strat, or are you going to stay Telecaster?
I can go.
I just think let's go Strat, because then it's just sort of it's what everybody's used to. Nice.
I mean, this is not your Garden Variety Strat. This is a custom shop 56 Relic Strat from '99, I believe. So it's quite old.
Pete's own personal one.
It's anyway, one I bought in Las Vegas, baby.
So they're not noiseless pickups or anything. They're just your standard 50s vintage pickups in there.
Yeah.
Anywhom,
everything is on 12.
All the tone controls are on 12. Yes.
And reverb is on 3. Volume is on about 2.5. Bright is up. More drive is up.
So this is input 1.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we never really talk about the whole input 1, input 2 thing. Input 2 on Fender amplifiers is generally a slightly padded input, so it has a little bit less gain. It's not...
Man, not so hot.
Man, not so hot. It's not about plugging 2 guitars in simultaneously. It's about having something like a Les Paul with some really, really pokey pickups and wanting really clean sounds. So you go into input 2 if that's what you wanted.
Yes.
Anyway, we're in input 1. Here we go.
Straight through. I'll do it again. Hang on.
Yeah, okay.
Here we go.
Could I trouble you for an AB box? Because I think the easiest thing to do here is just for me to go this amp, this amp, this amp whilst you're still playing, rather than unplug. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Man's fine with that.
Man's fine. Whilst my erstwhile colleague Peter Honore, famous guitar player of Girls Aloud and amongst other epic gigs.
That's 17 years ago, you know that. 18 years ago.
That's where you met your wife though, wasn't it, on that tour?
Yeah, not 18 years. It's 8. It can't be. No, it's 2005.
So that's 13.
13 years ago. That's where I met my wife.
Amazing. Sarah Harding.
No.
It's not Sarah Harding. It's a different wife. That's his first wife. Anyway,
I
have just troubled Pete for an AB box, because what it's going to allow me to do is very quickly demonstrate the difference in sound between a Deville and a Deluxe.
Good shout.
Some people will buy... I think most people plug into a Deluxe and they go, it's more than enough volume, therefore I don't need the Deville. And that's not really the point of the Deville. Although the Deville is slightly louder, it does, because you've got the extra speakers, bigger cabinet and a bit more headroom, it just sounds a bit different. Yeah. So it might still be the amp for you, even though you may not necessarily need the extra volume.
It's the headroom.
So
it's the headroom.
It is.
It's the same with the 100-watt amp. It's not that you want it louder, you just want the headroom.
It's like buying a Range Rover. You know, you don't necessarily physically need
this bit is going to cost you 120 grand,
headroom, but it's nice to have it.
In case you go.
It's nothing like buying a Range Rover. No. Anyway, the EQ settings are the same on each amplifier. The volume's about the same. The reverb is
come
about
up a
the
bit
same.
On that one.
Okay, and the it's the same. So everything's halfway. you can see they're characteristically slightly different. I think the smaller cabinet makes this one sound a bit more mid-rangey.
Yes.
This one's got a little bit more of an open, sort of heavier bass end, a little bit more sparkle.
They're mic'd up with the same SM7B microphones as well, which is straight on the cone. So
they might not be, or they are the same.
They are the same.
They're the same mics on each cab.
Placed the same place on the same speaker.
Now,
as well.
We'll talk about these. We'll do a pedal platform demo of these, but for now, let's go on to the first of the drive channels, which is you press by pressing the channel switch buttons. You get a foot switch with these, by the way.
Yep.
And then you've got a more of like a master volume vibe. So you've got a drive control and a master volume. I'm going to start off with the drive on each one around about 3.
And you need, and the master is the one that then works for that channel.
That's correct.
The master doesn't work on the clean channel.
Man's not hot.
Man's not master.
Have we got enough volume now, or do you need it a bit louder?
Yes, we need more volume, please.
Oh, really? Okay, go.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
They've changed that.
That's changed because when you do master
on the distortion channel, we definitely have a proper volume control now.
You say distortion, it's not distortion.
Overdrive.
It's not a distortion then. It's more an overdrive amp, isn't it?
You say tomato.
I say
go.
What?
So with drive on 3, you can see it's just like adding a little bit of hair on top. So here we go. This is the Deville. This is the Deluxe.
There's not much.
Not doing a lot there, is it?
There's not much, which is good because before it was kind of already it would be.
Yeah, I'm going to 12 o'clock on the drive channel now.
12 o'clock?
Deville.
That's what Express is going. Oh, I like that.
It's all come in now.
I like that.
Come in.
I like that.
Yeah.
See, again, that is more top-endy and more bassy, where this one is more full.
Which way around are you going?
This one is more full.
See, I thought this was more mid-rangey, and
it might be, again, we talk about this where you sit as well. It's a different thing, isn't it?
Yes.
So whatever you hear out there, we're completely wrong.
Right, I'm going to gun the gain. I'm not going to go too high on the gain now because there is another button to press.
But this is really usable. This is before I've never used the overdrive channel really on a hot rod amp because I never thought that it would be a thing where you would go, hey man, I'm just going to hit that and then do a solo. Is that?
No, that's that.
Okay.
Yeah, Deville. Now, the final channel switching option that you've got on these amplifiers is to have something called more drive, which is just like a preset extra bit of ganache, which again you can do from the foot switch that is included.
Oh, we can hear that already.
Here's the Deville with.
I wouldn't put it up there. I wouldn't use the more gain option personally myself. I don't really use that much gain.
I'm with you.
Unless it's a soaring epic lead for a solo that might need some delays and stuff.
So what I'm going to do,
Long notes.
There's one other button on here. As I said, haven't really changed the EQ. We've left it all at 12 o'clock. You can adjust the EQ to taste.
You can.
If your guitar's a little bright or a little dead, you can add or subtract as necessary. And it's not hot.
Man can subtract.
So there is a brightness switch. So let's just show you what the brightness switch does. This is without brightness. And here it is with brightness. No brightness. I like it with, I think.
No, I like it without.
Okay.
But
Well,
that's just
you're
me.
the player. The more I do these, the more it amazes me how different an amp sounds depending on whether you sit here or you sit there.
Yeah.
And I guess that is reinforced by the fact that mic placement when you're recording it changes everything critically. It's the same really. It's just having your ear in a different position.
I mean, a lot of people
anyway,
now put a mic. They go somewhere in the studio. They put the amp down. They mic it up. Do a room mic. We've got a room mic in here as well. We've got an Aston mic to sort of capture the room. But then they'll literally sit down where it sounds really good, and they'll put a microphone here because that's what your ear hears, and that is where it's good. So then you get that sort of authentic.
We don't do that.
No.
They're open back combos, I should say as well. So open back is another thing where in the room you can change the sound of the amplifier depending on how close you position it to a wall.
Yeah.
Anyway, so look, that's the Deville and the Deluxe.
They're lovely. I mean, they
really,
are
really nice.
Yeah.
So they will continue to be
the reigning king of
I suspect,
clean
top
tones.
of the tree.
I think it is, yeah.
If you want a Deville, you will have to part with
And a partridge
in a pear tree. In a twee. A partridge in a pear twee. You'll have to part with the thick end of £1,000, which for those of you that don't understand what the thick end means, it means 999.
Yeah. There's £1 less. That's.
And if you want the slightly smaller Deluxe, then that's going to cost you $849. The thick end of $850.
I must say, I think that's. Ooh.
Well, I think it's.
But it is a good amp. It is a good amp, but
I think you're.
personally,
It's weird, isn't it? I think this year's pricing, where the differential between the Deville and the Deluxe seems to be closer than it used to be, almost makes the Deville look a little bit more attractive.
We tried loads. We've compared loads of different amps, right? And the Hot Rod was one that we had in 1x12 to compare some other amps with. Do you remember that whole scenario?
I do.
Where it was like almost like a blind test thing.
I do remember.
Yeah. And we had some really, really expensive boutique amps.
Yes.
And I kept going, no, that still sounds the best for some reason.
I remember now.
It needs to be more like this, whatever it was, And it's
a great sounding amp.
It's a great sounding amp.
I mean, in fairness, if you go and look at all the mid-price amps, whether you're looking at Marshalls or Black Stars or PVs or Ignators, whatever you want to do, round about that 40, 50 watts, they're all in the UK now.
About that,
£700-800.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
So
the choice is yours, ladies.
However, of course, if you're a gigging guitar player, absolutely, you're probably looking at the Deville or the Deluxe going, ooh. But if you're not a gigging guitar player, if your life is spent either in the studio or at home, or I guess, maybe you occasionally gig, but you don't gig that loud, then you might want to look at one of these other amplifiers, which we shall just pop in here. So these are version 4 versions of the Pro Junior and the Blues Junior. Now these haven't had their cabinets changed, so these are still using the birch ply cabinetry, but they have had the speakers changed, or at least this one now has the Celestion A-type. The Pro Junior has a little 10-inch Jensen in it.
I can hear that go now because I think that's going to be loud. I'm going to.
It's
turn
halfway.
it down.
No, don't turn it down.
Oh, okay.
Do it from the guitar. I think.
Okay.
I'll start with the Pro Junior because the Pro Junior is. Whereas it's fair to say the Blues Junior is definitely the baby brother of the Deluxe, the Pro Junior is quite different. It's old school. It just has volume and tone. It has no reverb, so any reverb is going to come from a pedal. And it's all about tonking it up, doing everything from the volume on your guitar, in my opinion.
Yes, you're correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can retire now in the knowledge that I have at one stage been correct. So look, everything's on 12 here. I might even go a bit louder, you know, just because I think you need to do the clean thing from here. We'll use a TC Hall of Fame for a bit of reverb.
So we do it without reverb first?
Okay, do it without reverb first.
Woo! Shall I go full whack?
No, just build it up. Build up the suspense.
So let's put the reverb in just because it's a bit dry. This is one where you kind of would use your tone control as well to make the sounds from the guitar.
Are we on full now?
We're full now. It's pokey.
It's
where
basically,
I'm sitting, it's really pokey.
It's not everyone's cup of tea. I would say it's probably not my cup of tea of all the. It's a thing. It's like it's a compact 1x10 low powered amp.
Yes.
I think, you know, a lot of players. I remember seeing Clapton with essentially like a champ. It's basically a Fender champ, isn't it?
Let's just have that Les Paul of yours there.
Oh, you naughty beast! It's pretty noisy, as you can probably hear in the background.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You tone it up, and it does a thing. You probably can use some pedals with it. Let's try. Oh dear.
It needs humbuckers, this amp,
Does it?
I think, yeah. I forgot how massive this neck is on this guitar. Humongous.
It's a very, very angry sounding distortion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which
It's the cone cry we talked about. It's that cry when you turn something up on a little speaker and you can hear the speaker just.
I've turned it right down, by the way.
You can hear it still. You can hear the speaker. You can hear the speaker going.
Now, there will be guys out there that will be going, oh man, it's just the right size and it's the most affordable one at the mall and I love the fact that it's tweed. Could this be a perfect little pedal amp? Let's find out.
Okay.
So, I've turned it basically right down.
Okay.
So it's kind of like
reverb.
home use sort of volumes
reverb.
Now. Yeah. And it won't get any distortion from the amp. So all the distortions you're hearing are from the pedal.
I'll probably have to roll the tone off a bit to get sort of a...
Yeah.
Let's try this Lightspeed from Greer. See what that does. That's a pretty cool sound.
That's a great sound.
That's a pretty cool sound.
It's a cool sound.
I've rolled off the tone control a bit to kind of get that spikiness off.
It'll never do. One of the things I think that when you buy a Fender amplifier, you know, your your sort of in your mind, the sound that you're going to get is that big bass end, sparkly, all that kind of, you know,
that we know from the Hot Rod Deluxe
and from Fender Twins and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So
Fender
this
Twins.
isn't that amp.
Gorgeous.
It isn't that amplifier. It can't do that big bass end. The speaker's not big enough. The cabinet's not big enough. There's not enough headroom in the power amp.
Yeah.
But it is a kind of a funky little pedal amp for the guys at home, or if you just want to kill it in the studio, like everything on full and get real angry big distortion sounds.
Some rock track or whatever,
it might work for you. I've seen a lot of slide guitar players get amazing sounds out of that.
I mean, I can imagine that. Let's try to put some bit of some compressor on and see what that is. Without, with. There's that conch cry. Joe Bonamassa will be proud, because that's kind of the...
Where did that come from? Well, 1 minute you're sort of going, man, and then the next minute it's just all of a sudden utterly torn it up.
That's good, wasn't it?
Anyway, we've saved...
I mean, it's when you get that sort of little thing and then it inspires you to play.
Indeed. Wow. I think we've saved the best one till last. Was kind of the best one. It's certainly the best-selling one. The Blues Junior. Everybody I know owns a Blues Junior.
Not me.
Apart from Pete.
I would love to own one, but I don't.
It's a great little home use amplifier. It's an amazing little amplifier if you wanted to have like a little stereo rig. Take two of them out, and then of course you've got the extra power. Now this is a 6v6 in the or two 6v6s or one 6v6. This is two 6v6s in the power amp. So again, 6v6 was the sort of always the tube that Fender would use in their smaller amplifiers. It doesn't give you the headroom that the 6L6 gives. It's a slightly more what's the right word? It's a little bit more compressed kind of sound, not so open. Distorts slightly differently.
Definitely.
Anywho, again, absolutely wonderful little pedal amplifier, the Blues Junior.
And the reverb in there is gorgeous.
Oh, big spring reverb. Oh.
So I'll turn this off and then...
It makes you appreciate, no matter how good digital reverbs are getting, and I do like a lot of digital Strymon and New Neighbor and the GFI pedals we tried recently.
It's all gorgeous,
All gorgeous. But there's nothing quite like ye old organic actual springs of things. So here we go. Here's the Blues Junior.
Give us more reverb, so we can please. May I have, sir?
Yes.
A bit more bass end.
It's fantastic. It's orgasmic. It's
orgasmic.
It has a little button. I don't think it's one of its best features, but it has a little button called a fat button. And it does basically that. I will press the fat button in. without. Sending shivers down my spine.
Man, it's hot.
It has got a master volume, which means you can drive the preamp circuit a little. I'm not a big fan of the inbuilt distortion sound on here, but you know, with the fat switch in and lots of gain, it sounds a bit like this.
So I have to make it in C instead.
As a pedal amplifier, it's just insane.
I want to just try some Stratocaster.
No worries at all. Well, you know, and bear with us. There's not much longer to go in this demo. Sooner or later, people are and jam out, and you can go on, get on with your lives, do whatever you need to do, get back to work probably. Oh, it's just great.
It's good, isn't it?
Pedals,
it is good.
Distortion.
Light speed.
Man,
It's
not hot. Yes, it just sounds great. It just sounds absolutely great. Again, just be aware if you do want to gig with this or use it at reasonable volume. Again, the lower output, it's 15 watts, and the more compact cabinet just sacrifices that
air
open bass end.
It just lacks. It lacks the air.
The bottom end will just be a little bit less pleasing.
Stick it on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good idea. If you put an amp on the floor, it gives you a little bit more sort of...
A little bit more bass.
A little bit more bass.
So, and we haven't done
box.
pricing, so you're going to have to part with about £600 to get one of these and about £500 to get one of these. So, there we are.
Which one would you have?
Gosh, do you know, on today's one, if I was gigging, I'd have the Deville.
If you're not gigging?
I'd have the Blues Junior.
Yes. Same.
Yeah, I'm the Pro Junior, to be honest with you, as a standalone amplifier with no pedal board is not my cup of tea.
Nope.
But you were getting some good sounds out of it. But then you are a good guitar player.
But it's a studio. No,
so
but
it's probably not fair.
It's a studio thing, isn't it? I think, or maybe you have it live, and what you have in your rig, you have an ABC box or whatever, and you can switch over to that amp when you need that kind of sound with that guitar. Then it's a cool thing because it sounded really good. It gives that authentic,
that's
vintage,
what it is.
authentic vintage. Yeah. Just screaming like a speaker that goes, no, please, no.
I saw Eric Clapton at the Albert Hall, and he had a Fender Champ, which is fundamentally, you know, a little 1x10 similar power, 7 watts or 8 watts or something like that. And
man, what's hot?
Albert Hall, he had this amp just on like a chair, so just like one of those like auditorium chairs, and it looked like it was gaffer taped on to stop it falling off. and it was obviously just everything was on full, and he had his 335, and I guess in an arena like Albert Hall, you're not worried about it hasn't got reverb or anything like that.
No.
And he's just doing everything from the volume controller on his 335.
But Amasa is a great example of that. He just goes.
Yeah, but he uses bigger tweed amps, doesn't he?
Yeah, but still, you know, it's still the same principle.
Isn't he supposed to be doing some Fender signature tweed amps?
Yeah, Model have heard it and some stuff.
Is he doing that?
Well,
it's not. No, it's not mega. I mean,
he posted it on
posts
Instagram
everything,
and all sorts of stuff.
yeah.
Get him out and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, he's back with the band now, isn't he? What's the band called?
Black Country Communion.
Communion. That's it. So
with
that's
Glenn
a
Hughes
difficult one
and
to
Jason
say.
Bonham.
But he's using Marshalls again, isn't he? And his old.
He's weird, isn't he?
He swaps around.
He's sort of. Yeah,
I like.
I don't know why
him,
we're talking about Joe Bonamassa, but
no, because he does that.
He does the whole thing on
if
10.
If you watch his Instagram posts and stuff, or Facebook or whatever, he'll literally just sit in a bathroom somewhere in the backstage.
Oh, for sure.
And have one of those. He'll just turn it up and he'll just control everything. There is this video where he sits in some hall somewhere. Yeah. And it's beautiful. Yeah, he just controls everything on here.
Though, isn't he? Anyway, look, that's it. So, what 2 guitars shall we jam out on? I'm taking the Blues Junior for a ride. You can stick with that one. Lots of pedals, and we'll jam out.
Well, this one?
I'm afraid so, yes.
Okay.
I'm
going... my gold top then.
Yes. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Andertons Guitar YouTube channel. If you're a drummer or a keyboard player or interested in music technology, you might find one of our other channels interesting, and I'll put details of those in the description below. If you want to find out more about the products we've just featured, please click here. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt like this, please click here. If you want to watch another video on our guitar channel, click down here. And to subscribe to our guitar channel, click here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.